Joining us today on Pirate Radio Live, he's a Hall of Famer. He is WNCT Channel 9 Sports Director, host of the Brian Bailey Show. He is Brian Bailey joining us. Hello, BB.
Hello. How's it going?
It is going good. You just asked me before we went on what I did this weekend, and I thought about it and didn't do much of anything, but I did watch and follow a lot of sports. Yesterday, went by the parents' house for a little Easter meal, and they like to have WNCT Channel 9 on.
Good.
At most times.
Great people.
And saw one of my dad's favorite sports anchors, Zach Kaplan, live in Raleigh following Carolina's win in Game 1 of Round 1 of the playoffs. Hurricanes hockey, playoff hockey back, BB. Something to kind of get excited about. Good win yesterday.
Yeah, it really is. And we're on the eastern part of the state, but Raleigh's only, 80, 90 miles away, and you can get there pretty easily. And we don't get a chance to do a lot of hurricane coverage during the regular season, except we do show the highlights most nights when they play a regular season game. But the playoffs are a little different, and you can tell just, all the, the towels and the waving the towels and just the excitement, the enthusiasm, and a lot of people pay a lot of money to go to those games, and it's a neat experience.
It's been about 10 or 12 years that I got into soccer for a little while, and the main reason I did was seeing the crowds, and it was like, if this many people are into this, then there's got to be something to it at least. And I feel that way about playoff hockey too, that if you're on the fence about the Hurricanes or hockey in general, just flip a game on and see how electric the building is, and it'll wrap you up into it. It'll get you excited, and they played great yesterday. Kind of a wire-to-wire win for Carolina, and go up 1-0 over the Devils, and hoping to make a long run.
Yeah, play again on Tuesday night. So those home games are very important because the Canes just play better at home, and they have home ice advantage this series, but they won't have it next series, most likely. So we'll have to see how they fare when they have to go on the road for games 1 and 2, if they advance after this series.
Followed a little bit of the NBA playoffs, watched some of those games, a lot of blowouts on Sunday, some good games on Saturday, so keeping a little bit of an eye on that. Watched some Major League Baseball. Braves get a nice sweep over the Twins.
They needed it, didn't they?
They needed it big time. In fact, I said Friday, they're down 4-0. That might have been a season-saving win against Minnesota when they came back and beat the Twins. But watched some of that. Saw highlights and clips of Zach Agnos' MLB debut.
That? Yeah.
Boy, that happened in a hurry.
It
Gets
did.
Called up, goes in, pitches a scoreless 8th. They're doing the – man, I love this about Major League Baseball when a guy makes his debut and they got the family section
that's
on
neat.
video, and saw the – interview with Jake and their mother, and man, that gave you a little goosebumps.
Yeah,
there.
and if you heard the interview, they talk about they wish that Nico was there, the dad. He passed away unexpectedly 2 or 3 years ago, I guess, but maybe longer than that. But and you kind of feel for Jake because Jake's been injured the whole time. He really hasn't had a chance to have his baseball career. I think he's had 3 surgeries. He told me. So last I talked to Jake, he was still trying to make a run at it, but.
I think
still,
no longer with the Yankees organization,
right.
I believe. But, he has had some tough luck. But to see him there supporting his brother was awesome.
Well, they got a great family. We sat with them, actually, because Jake spoke at the baseball banquet this past year. And so we sat with his family at the banquet, and they were great. And they've always been just super great to Bella. I mean, one year it was her birthday, and Zach and Jake sang happy birthday to her and sent it to her. So, I mean, there's a great family.
I think the Rockies had 3 wins going into yesterday, and now they are 1-0 with Zach Agnos.
There you go. He may be the he may be the turnaround.
Turn the whole dang franchise.
Did you see the Cubs the other day with the Diamondbacks and all the runs scored in that game? It was nuts.
In the 8th, it was double digits.
I think Arizona scored 10 in the 8th, and the Cubs came back and still beat them. But it was just.
Was it a windy day at Wrigley?
It was blowing out, and I think Happ hit. I think it was Happ to hit the grand slam to give the Cubs. I think they were up 7-1, and then they gave up 10. It was just a wild day at Wrigley Field. And you have one like that every once in a while.
Yeah, the UAB Blazers played a little home run derby.
Oh man,
Saturday.
that was hard to watch when it got late because it just seemed like whoever the Pirates went to, they couldn't get anybody out, and all of a sudden UAB became the 27 Yankees. I mean, they just
ECU up 8-1.
Yeah.
And get blown out in the game. But and I saw somebody put this out there that it's one of those series wins that almost doesn't feel like a series win because you lose so bad in Game 3. But they did the job on Thursday and Friday to earn the series win. So they needed that. Got State coming up on Tuesday and then home for Tulane this weekend.
Yeah. So that game was, they were up, 2-0 in the series, and they go up 8-1. You kind of think, hey, put it in cruise control, it's over. But Melissa was watching it with me. I said, it's got all the makings of 8-3, 8-5, 8-7, and then it got worse from there.
Well, they always say there's no clock in baseball, and
there's not.
I roll my eyes at that sometimes, but that was a great example of it.
Exactly.
On Saturday and in that Cubs game that we talked about. Some wild ones there. Also, it is time for spring football, the spring game coming up this weekend, Bailey, and I plan to be out there at Dowdy Ficklin Stadium on Saturday. Kind of a love-hate thing with spring football. I like it because it's football. I don't like it because you don't get too much out of it, and also they take it away from you. I feel like I'm crying right now. They take it away from you, Bailey.
Man,
they don't bring it back.
It'll be all right, Clip.
We don't get it till September.
We'll get it back. We promise.
It's a little taste, and it's an important one, obviously, for Blake Harrell being his first.
Yeah, and I asked him on my show today, I said, you walk around practice sometimes and pinch yourself because, you're the head football coach at East Carolina. You got a great opportunity, and he's turned it around so far. Got a tough schedule this year. There's no question, and this is not an easy football schedule. It doesn't matter who it is, but it's East Carolina's football schedule, and it's very difficult. But it all starts against NC State, the rematch from the Military Bowl, and that'll be a lot of fun leading up to that.
I'm excited for this offense. I got question marks on the defense, so that's going to be an area of concern for me going into this season. But talking to Rajay last week, he says this offense, despite what they lost, should be even better.
I think so.
Year 2 of JDB.
Right.
He loves the running backs. We know about Marlon Gunn and Montgomery to a certain degree, but Engelman, I think
we saw him the other day, and he finished strong in that scrimmage on Saturday. I mean, he really looked good. So
another year of Caden Hauser, this time starting week 1 as the quarterback, which Blake Harrell said if the season started today, he'd be fine. Go, right?
Yeah.
Questions, what you got? What do you have after Hauser, because Garcia entering the transfer portal?
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. I think they really wanted to keep him around because he brings you a very talented backup to help things out. His was a mystery to me of how he played, because I thought he had signs and signals that he was going to be just outstanding, and then he threw a couple of interceptions and you kind of scratch your head. So I don't know if he was just forcing the ball down the field or what the deal was, but I hope he finds a nice spot and lands something that'll make him a better quarterback.
Been asking this question: do you think ECU's backup quarterback is on the roster right now?
I think so. I mean, I haven't heard anything that said they're always looking in the portal and that kind of thing, but I think it's Raheem Jeter's had enough coming through the year. This is his 3rd year, isn't that right? He's been around a while. Yeah. And I think he's been very patient, and I think he deserves the second slot. But if there's somebody out, the problem is here is that you don't usually have quarterbacks who want to go play backup in the portal. They got in the portal to go make themselves some money and be a first-string quarterback
start somewhere.
Yeah.
How about a guy at UCLA? I guess they brought in Joey Aguilar from App State, and then Nico demands more money at Tennessee. They say no. He ends up at UCLA, and now Aguilar is back in the portal. So, one off-season, 3 teams for Aguilar at App State.
It always seemed to me you're supposed to go to college with the idea of getting a degree, and how these guys are even going to come close to a degree. Here's another question for you.
Bailey.
I know. But here's another question. How do they know if they go to class, but how do they know what building to go to when they bounce around so much?
That's all online.
It took me 3 years to find a library at Old Dominion.
That's a nice thought, but think about Miami in the 80s and, Florida and then Florida State in the 90s. They didn't care about class.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I mean, am I wrong?
Agree. No,
I mean, it's a good thought, but the whole
But you have to stay eligible somehow, don't you?
Yeah, they find ways to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Sorry, folks. I'm a little cynical. when it
Believe,
comes to
believe,
college
that's all,
athletics.
folks. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's it. Tis what it is. I think was it Cardell Jones, quarterback at Ohio State, who said it best. I didn't come here to play school. I came here to play football.
Yeah, I guess so.
That was one of the all-time great lines. And coaches in a perfect world do want their players to succeed and be great, but they also want to win games so they can get contracts and keep their jobs.
I get it.
So.
I get it. It's just you would think they have to stay eligible somehow.
You would think.
Yeah.
NFL draft coming up on Thursday, Bailey. Looking forward to that. Again, kind of a taste of the NFL before they take it away until the fall. But what you thinking about your Cowboys?
I'm hoping that they trade down and get a couple of extra picks, and I think they could probably get somebody at say 20 or 22 that they could have gotten. I'm afraid they're going to take somebody at 12 that they could have gotten at 22. That's what I'm thinking. But I think they're going to go wide receiver. I don't know if they'll go running back because I don't know if they're going to want to pay a running back a lot of money down the line. I
feel like it's
it could be Omarion Hampton or Genty.
I'm very interested to see what happens with him. I think he's going to be really good. Talked about him with Ken Watlington the other day. But maybe not a Starfield draft, but a deep draft. That's kind of the consensus, I guess. Like Travis Hunter is a star, but what is he going to be in the NFL? Is he going to play both sides or focus on one? I don't know about the quarterbacks with Cam Ward. I like Cam Ward, but is he going to be a great Shadur Sanders up there? And who knows? Could be one of those years where you get a diamond in the rough in round 2 or 3.
Did you see where somebody said that a freshman had a big game in the spring game at Colorado, and they were going to retire his jersey the first game? That's some weird stuff going on there.
University of Dion out there, Colorado. Yeah. He's calling all the shots right now.
I guess. Yeah,
the 13-11, I think record. You get your jersey retired.
Wow.
But I don't put much stock into that either, and that's got to piss off some old Colorado.
Oh, you would think. I mean, Colorado won a national championship one year, didn't they? With Bill McCartney.
It might have been like one of
those co-national championships when it was
And if we're retiring jerseys, somebody said there's a 47 out there running around at ECU right now. They should not have a 47.
No,
playing at least this year.
Right.
You don't have to retire it, but give it a rest for our guy Rajay.
Give it a rest for Rajay.
There'll never be another 47.
Put 47, my guy, right there.
My guy. Oh, you got a good my guy from Rajay last week when I talked to him.
Oh, did I? Yeah. Oh, good.
It's funny because last Monday you're telling Freeman he calls everybody my guy.
My guy.
And then I was talking about the run against State, and I said, oh, yeah, Brian Bailey said that was a top 3, top 5 play all time. He said, my guy.
My guy.
Make you feel good, don't it?
It does. It does make you feel good. Yeah.
All right, BB. A big edition of the Brian Bailey Show. Blake Harrell and another one of your guys, Damon Magazoo. Anything Coach Harrell said that made your ear perk up at all?
No, I just think that every time you talk to him, you get the sense of how thankful he is for this position and how he feels like that this is his chance and
he's
really
giving everything to him.
And he gives everything. I mean, he accepts the challenge and he's so humble. We were talking about being. I told him it was a privilege to kind of ride through there with him because it was kind of like I saw it right in front of me. And he said that he thanked me and thanked some other people that got him in the right direction because man, he was taking water through a fire hose for sure. And when he first started, because the head coach has to do a little interview for radio at halftime, and then he runs off, and in the game you have responsibilities, and so it was an army to have to guide him around and get him straight. But I think he enjoyed the entire thing.
Did he thank you when you said you didn't think you would get the job?
No, I didn't.
I'm just kidding.
I know.
No, that just tells you that, and you talked about it being on that ride with him. That it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get it to. Well, he's got a chance.
Oh, it was the whole realm. I mean, it started out like the odds were astronomical, and then they got less astronomical, and then by the fourth game it was like, well, maybe this would work.
Another one or two.
Yeah. So
and capped it off with a win over NC State. In the
most certainly did.
Stuff. Bailey, appreciate you joining us. Check out the Brian Bailey Show. Awesome hour with Blake Harrell and Damon Magazoo, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Sounds good. Take care.